Welcome. This is why bad things happen to good manifestors, and I'm speaking about this because I've encountered it directly a few times working with clients and other people that really turn cold at the idea of manifestation because it can be interpreted as blaming the victim, like some unlucky bad thing happens to you and now it's your fault because you manifested it and uh, and then for people who follow manifestation, they in turn can internalize guilt, add an extra layer when something unpleasant happens to them because they created it with thinking or feelings they weren't aware of, or they didn't trust it enough, or they didn't try hard enough on this positive thinking journey. And it's a little bit of tension around the whole thing. And one thing, I teach how manifestation really works. A big thing I teach is it's okay to feel bad. And when you allow your negative feelings and you accept them, they aren't causing havoc in your life. Well, let me get into that a little bit. The reason quote unquote bad things happen, which we'll redefine as things that the ego doesn't enjoy. So things that are disruptive or not personally enjoyable to the ego occur. And what they usually do is they push you out of your comfort zone. You were going along and life was okay, or it was what was, and then this thing happened, and now it's more uncomfortable. And you've got to kind of work around that. Um, if we take away the idea that that's a bad thing, which can get layered, I'm also in this talk, I also want to talk about those big things like war, famine, people living in bad situations because of geography. I'm going to talk about that layer too, but starting just with personal life, daily life. Um, there's this situation where the ego is a master of disguise. It is number one superpower is denial. It will hide things from itself and it will deny things without any without ever telling you. You can think you're extremely aware. You can think you're very self-aware that you don't hold back, and it will still trick you. It will still hide things from you. And these events in life that are so unpleasant are basically you get to a point and it can't stay hidden anymore. So this thing has to come out, and this thing in life that's unpleasant shows up and pulls it out because what we feel and experience in reaction to a thing is the thing that resonates with it, is the thing that brought it into your life. And when this shows up, it means that that thing that you're having in a reaction is now ready to let go. So that disruptive thing that's unpleasant, I know from my own experience, I have been doing very intentional and intensive self work for over 20 years. I still catch myself and get caught by having something not work. And it goes sideways and I can't account for it except that I have to pay it a lot of attention because there's something that I was holding back from that's now ready to come out. And it's that thing that causes the best laid plans to go awry, as it were. And as I was thinking about it and doing this talk, I realized there was something I had to talk about here because I am dealing with this right now in my life. And I felt really vulnerable talking about it here. And then I was like, oh, now I have to. so, so what's going on is I've been doing these weekly talks for a month and a half, something like that, in part to promote an upcoming class I have on how manifestation really works. And all these topics have been things that I know that that share, like they're little slices for this bigger class I'm giving. And I felt really good giving them. I did a lot of work going into it. I did a lot of what's the experience I want to have. I did a lot of building confidence and the state of confidence to carry into my action. And all this stuff I was doing and it didn't work. I have a few people signed up, but I was going for one thing and it's not going to. I was trying to pay for some things. I was trying to do some stuff and it's not working, or it hadn't worked. And I was um, kind of feeling like I did everything. I did everything I talked about. I did my meditation. And it's worked for me in my life. It's worked throughout my life, and it's not working here. I was talking to my teacher, and he said that I had something. Anytime it comes to anything that's about making money, I have inadequacy show up and the feeling of inadequacy. And I had, when I was going into it and going into confidence, I was actually going into inadequacy because confidence was a solution to a feeling I wasn't admitting I was having. So when I was standing in and saying, I'm going to take this action out of a state of confidence, I was going to make up for feeling inadequate. And if you've listened to my other talks, I have talks on effective action, I have talks on emotion, and I am happy to share those videos where I go into this more. But basically, when I thought I was taking action out of one state, I was taking action out of another state. And that's what I was showing up. And so the discomfort of the reality that was rising, and I started to feel really shaky and pain around it that was outsized to what the event was. It was, oh, now this inadequacy I've been feeling because I'm so intent on manifesting my intention and actually creating the life that I want and creating the stability I want so that my partner can quit his job. That's my ultimate goal. I mean, it's not just one class will do that. There's a lot I'm doing. But the big thing that I was trying to do was ultimately to make up for what felt like a failure and a failing inside myself. So it wasn't because I wanted to enjoy and celebrate this greater level of life, which is what my brain was telling me. It was because I was afraid there was something wrong with me. And I thought if I could do this, it would make up for it. And so manifestation, the way it works, it won't let you hold back. It won't let you hide from your truth. And when you try and manifest and you really go on this path, you really go on this journey, and you really apply it, things will show up that confront you with what you're hiding and what you're hiding from. And it's unavoidable. And the more intentional you are and the more specific you are, the more you will see how this relates to what you are holding back from yourself. So it's not a bad thing. This isn't a bad thing that's happening. It's actually a good thing. I mean, in my life, I wanted to be able to pay for my daughter to go to preschool without having to put out my credit card. And it's like, okay, well, I'll be paying on my credit card for a little bit. Um, that's okay. I can learn that lesson. It's worth it for the lesson I'm learning. When I put it in the context of I'm learning a lesson and not I messed up, I did something wrong, because this is a lifelong pattern and it's been in many areas of my life throughout my life. And I always was like, there's something in me where it's like, I just don't shine as bright as I could, or I'm just not as there as I could be. And I'm all this, when I recognized, which was just a few days ago, it was after I posted what this week's topic was. I very intuitively figure out what the topic will be, and then I find out why I chose that when it's time to talk about it. Uh, when I think I had this revelation on a Wednesday about what I've been avoiding and not realizing I was avoiding it. And I've avoided in many areas of my life, but this was one area where I can speak to it, where it really showed up because I was very intentionally trying to do one thing, knowing a lot and applying a lot, and it went a different direction. And when I don't try, things work very easily for me. I will say that. I have many examples where everything I'm talking about has proven to work very well. Um, when it comes to me and my career, there's a little bit of a thing. And that's something that I've been there before. I've had success in things before, but there's always been this little um, hipscotch where it's not quite smooth. It's not quite going where I want to go. And I thought I'd worked through it. I thought I found it, and I found this new layer. Now, this might be the final layer. This might be the final thing. I'm working through it now. When I realized I had to talk about this at this week's talk, as I was sitting with it, I was like, okay, that's part of me. Like bring your vulnerability, bring where you are, and that has a lot of power in it. That's the other piece. Like when I was talking to my teacher about it, and um, I was wanting, like 50 people to sign up, and I was wanting to do this whole big thing. When I was talking to my teacher about where I was at in reality, he said there is a lot of power there because that's what's showing up. That's where all your power is right now. It's showing up there. So go there, go be where it is. So when we feel vulnerable, when we open to the bad thing that's happening in our life, it feels very vulnerable, and it feels it kind of lays you bare. It's like, okay, I've got nothing to hide now. I can't do the thing I want to do. I can't, whatever it is. And then you hold nothing back, and there's a path of freedom in that. I don't have one answer, I have many answers. There's many directions that something will bring you to. When a difficulty shows up, opening to it, asking what is arising. I was feeling a lot of I didn't have the word for it. I didn't even have the word of inadequacy. I had my teacher say that, and it was like, "That's the word." Um, but I was feeling something, and it was overwhelming, and I realized the thing that started me on this journey was I have 2 toddlers at home. I'm not a stay-at-home mother by nature. I'm not, domestic by nature. I don't like to cook. I'm not great at keeping a clean house. I have all these things, and my husband, meanwhile, is really good at it, and then we had someone living with us to help, and she's good at this stuff, and I was feeling this, um, greater inadequacy being at home, being the stay-at-home mom, but not able to, do all those stay-at-home mom things, not being so domestic. Great with my children, but not with all the other layers. So I was like, well, my husband doesn't really like his job and he's better at stuff around the house. So I'll go and start making the money and he can quit his job. Well, I was feeling like I wasn't enough. So then I went and made a plan that was based on answering that problem. And that this is again going back to if you look at my classes, I have a free talk on the secrets of effective action. I was breaking the number one rule of effective action, which is to take action from a state of what you want to create in the world. And I didn't realize I was doing that. And that's one of the ways the ego will hide. And the power of this dimension, this reality that we experience. Um, yeah, I'm just reading someone's note, and yes, yeah. So if you accept it and own it and dive into it, it will change you. You won't know you're hiding from yourself. Like you know you're hiding from yourself by what shows up. A teacher of mine years ago said, the ego will always reveal itself to itself in time. Like it will try and hide, but all the events that happen in your life will stop it from happening. So if manifestation were just about getting what you want when you wanted it, then yes, having something go wrong, you would be a failure. And yes, it's your fault someone cut you off in traffic. And yes, it's your fault if a stranger yelled at you. And yes, it's your fault. But if it's about evolution and personal growth and personal responsibility, like the ability, what are you capable of in your life? That's responsibility. Then when those things go wrong, they're doing you a huge favor. And you can do everything right and know you are doing it right and have things go wrong because we feel and experience things on their way out. So when big stuff that's had a lot of weight in your life and your unconscious starts to come up, it will pull in events to help it be released. Like like you've really done your work and you've really gotten far and there's this deep feeling of unworthiness. And it's been coming up and coming up and coming up on its way out. And you've addressed it, and then it's like this deep layer has to release. You can be fully in a great positive state of manifestation and have something happen, like your house is broken into or something, so this feeling can show up and be released. And it's not that you did or said anything wrong. It's because sometimes for things to be released, physical events have to happen to help them go. I hope that makes sense. That's a big thing. So basically, the short answer of why bad things happen to people who are good at manifesting is so that the deeper unconscious layer can be addressed and healed. That's one. And I'm doing it right now. I was like, this is the thing I have to talk about this week. Um, I also have other things. I'm not stopping. I'm not stopping anything I'm doing. I'm not gonna, I mean, I was talking to my teacher and I, I had like 5 people signed up and I was like, I don't know. And he was like, showing up for a class that's small is there's a lot of power there. That is what you've manifested. That's where all your power is. Go there. And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And, of course, there's still time for other people to sign up. I'm still encouraging it, but I'm sharing where I'm at right now. Um, this is where I'm at right now. I can maybe be in a completely different state tomorrow. But when we own and accept where we are, there's a great deal of power there too, because all your power is where you are. It's not where you think you are. It's not where you want to be. It's not what you think you should be. It's where you are. And when you can accept that, even if it feels uncomfortable or vulnerable or not good enough, if you can just land in here I am, that's enough. Okay, so that's one layer. That's really useful for daily life, for probably the things you'll encounter in your life. Like I before the lockdown, so probably close to a year ago, I was driving to go and do readings at New Renaissance, and I was gathering myself, creating a state for being a reader at the store and what kind of day I was gonna have. And then this car in front of me, he was trying to parallel park in front of me. I didn't realize it, so I got too close. And there was a line of cars behind me, so I couldn't back up. So I was blocking him, and then I was stuck. He opened his door, shook his middle finger, yelled F you at me really loud, this whole thing. And I was like, I'm sorry, I can't move. And then as soon as we had that interaction, the spot opened up in front of me. He was able to pull forward and go. And I was like, what was that? Like that's one like little example of the kind of thing that can happen in life when you're just going along. I was being peaceful, I was being meditative, I was creating my state for the day. And this thing happened that completely jarred me and like threw me off. And I was like, oh, that was something I needed to address, this feeling of rejection. At that moment, that was what it was. It was this sense of rejection. It was like, oh, I needed to address that to help me with my day. So I really want that to be the mindset when unpleasant things happen, because they will. I mean, I've had teachers very high level, very amazing. Something happens and they'll tell the story in their retreat or whatever. And it's like a weird interaction with a stranger where they just start going off on them or something. Like, I don't think it ever doesn't happen. Your reaction to it changes. But the big reaction change is, what is this giving me? What did I need that this is what showed up? That's the change. What did I need that this is what showed up? And it's not what did I do to cause this? It's what is this giving me? Yeah. And that was the question I was sitting with in my inability. I mean, I have a very close friend who's a business coach professionally, and she like teaches people how to make like $60,000 in a month, and she does this stuff, and she's been coaching me um, for free because we have that kind of trade relationship. And I've been like, wow, I've gotten all this good stuff going in my life. Why can't I make it? Why can't I apply it? Why can't I see it physically show up? All this energy and work that I'm doing back here. And it was like, and then when I hit on inadequacy, it's like, because everything I've been doing, I've been funneling it through a feeling of inadequacy. So, by the way, my change to it is because I realized that the state of confidence that I was working with or trying to work with was an answer to a problem. I was trying to solve feeling inadequate by feeling confident. So it was linking back into it. I hope that makes sense. So what I've been working with instead is friendliness. And the way that happened is I my daughter, I have a 3-year-old, and she has this children's book about a little blue truck that's going along being very friendly with all the animals, saying beep, 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 and the animals all talk back to it. And then he gets stuck in the mud trying to help someone else, and all the animals come and help him get out of the mud. And for whatever reason, that was like the gift that my physical reality gave me to help me through. It was like, oh, I'm the little blue truck, and I'm friendly and cute. I'm not this big, confident, powerful person who knows all this stuff. I'm a little blue truck saying hi. So I'm little blue truck energy today. um, what do you mean by power? How does addressing inadequacy look? So whatever is showing up. So for me, addressing inadequacy is admitting I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do, um, basically to the public. It wouldn't always be the right thing, but it is right now. Um, it feels very inadequate to do that. It feels very vulnerable to do that. And so I'd say this is what it looks like right now. A mistake I'm not making is trying to have anyone solve it for me. I'm not asking anyone watching this, well, aside from asking you to see if it feels right to you to sign up for my class, I'm not saying please sign up for my class so I stop feeling inadequate. That would be like, I wouldn't do that. Um, so I'm not asking anyone to solve it for me, but I'm sharing it in an authentic way. And if I don't ask anyone to solve it for me, if I simply own it and accept it and allow it, that's what it does. And then that's the action that owning, accepting, and allowing it leads me to. And then that little blue truck friendly energy, when I pictured myself doing this stuff, I was like, what would the little blue truck do? And that was what it was. And then the power is, if something is showing up in your life, it has a lot of power. All of your power of manifestation has gone into that thing. So if you step into it, if you step into what's showing up in your life and you show up with it, that's where your power is. If that makes sense. I ask if that makes sense because it's a big idea. But I know, I mean, I've put so much energy and time and so many layers into this class I'm going to teach that trying to cancel it and refund the money because I didn't get many people signed up would be, it would be saying no to a huge amount of power, a huge amount that I've created. So I'm going to show up for it because other people want me to. The other people are showing up for it, so I'm going to show up for it. And I'm going to bring another layer to it because I'm no longer going to be operating somewhat inauthentically, even though I didn't know I was. I thought I was being very authentic. Yeah, that's actually the aim too small thing that's been on my mind my whole life. I've had many psychic readings telling me I was going to be famous and rich for my work. I was going to all this stuff. I had a palm reading that was like, "You're going to be famous." That was just recently, like all this stuff. And so the fact that I'm still struggling to like just fill classes is kind of an anathema. Like my brain is just like, "What?" Like, what? And we'll see, because I hadn't come to this layer before. I'd come to different things before, and I worked through them, and that I think is why I have such an amazing life that would really be enough. Like up until 6 months ago, um, I was completely happy stepping away from my business and my work and just being with my kids and just everything. Um, but it became time, like that feeling of inadequacy may have spurred me, but it may have been something I needed to spur me. It's not something you want to take action out of because then you get more of what you get more of what you're creating out of. But it did get me moving, and I did talk about the benefits of low vibrations and how they can get you moving. So there's great benefit to all of this. And I hope the main lesson is communicated. Whatever is showing up is giving you a gift. Listen to what it's giving you. And then when I was talking about like every level, like every teacher I've worked with, no matter how advanced they are in their work, they've had something show up. There's a story of Buddha, one of the stories of Buddha from years past, where someone comes and all these people are in line to receive a blessing from Buddha, and this guy is so mad about it. It's such a scam. He's so mad at this whole scam. And he gets in line and he's just working himself into this frenzy of anger because of that. By the time he gets to Buddha to receive a blessing, he's so mad he just spits in his face. And the Buddha sort of surprised and laughs. And then he walks away and he's so embarrassed. He's like suddenly overcome with guilt of what he had done. And like, I can't believe I did that. I just spat in the Buddha. And so then he gets back in line and waits another like 5 or 6 hours. Gets to the front and it's like, "I'm so sorry I did that." And Buddha says, "No, I had said a prayer today that if there is any anger left inside of me, please show it to me. Please share something. And you show me there is no anger in me. But you may need to apologize to my assistant because he has some anger to let go of." But that's like a story like Buddha created this event so he could address any anger that might be there. So that's that, and I'm almost at half an hour, and I did really want to quickly I wanted to talk about things like the Holocaust and people starving in third world, like the things that happened, the slavery today and stuff, really quickly about just that level to help people not feel weird about this manifestation idea. Like, are we blaming all these people all over the world in these bad situations? And what I say there is there's a kind of gross psychic field that's shared among people. If you ever travel, your brain changes. I've been to Europe. I was in Europe for just like 2 or 3 days, and I was thinking like a European. Like my brain chemistry changed to be European while I was there, and all the things that are norms there happened, and I became less American. I was there for 3 weeks, and by the end, I was desperate for America again. I started missing it, the familiarity of it. But I had experienced different cultures, different languages, and I had become different. We are so tapped into the field of our surroundings, our environment, and then the media and the propaganda and everything that it feeds us. I mean, the entire country was primed to feel anxious on election day. The entire country is primed to have this big thing happening right now. And it was when these things are happening, that field kind of loops people in. So as I'm talking about this stuff on the personal level, when big things are going down, they kind of pull people into it, and the bigger energy field has the bigger gravity, and so it pulls the lesser fields into it. So really you have to be stronger than the um, the media around you, the cultural norms and that psychic field around you to withstand it, to manifest something different. Um, and that's just in everyday life. Um, the things that are controlling us that are bigger than us because we're all like cells in a big body. We're all swimming together. What's going on here affects over here. Um, it takes a lot to break out of that. So there are people who do, there are standout people who do, but it's by no means the norm. And basically, when that's going on, the people in it, they didn't create it. Maybe on a soul level they did. Maybe on a soul level they signed up for it, but that's a little like blaming children. Like when the culture goes against you, when the country goes against you, that's like blaming a child for their parents going against them. Like it's just completely different. So I just want to kind of put that out there that we're not manifesting bad stuff. like they're not manifesting that in that sense, the same sense. And we are not by being in America during this time. Like we all just signed up to be here during this time. And we'll see what happens. But yeah, I just really want to quickly touch on that so that we can dive into manifestation without feeling guilty that why are these people manifesting that bad thing? I can, get a parking space. Um, and the way this works, 95% of the time I get a parking space. Every once in a while I don't. And it's like, oh, there's something I need out of that. Because some deeper level is coming up. So I hope that clarifies. Any other questions? Or did I want to make sure I answered the questions that were asked well. And then anything else anyone wants to say? Um, yeah. Thank you. And I also want to say, for anyone that it helps, I did create a payment plan. So it's $120 for a class. I did make it so you can do $60 this month, $60 next month. I also realize we are in a pandemic and incomes across the board are lower. But I will put the link here. And then if you want to look at it, I do now have a payment plan in place. And if you want to message me privately like you want it, but $60 in a month is a little much, we can discuss a different kind of payment structure as well. Because I did have the insight that as much as that's, in normal times, not a figure that would hold people back. These are not normal times, so it might. So you can do $6 this month, $16 next month. And you can message me. And I'm gonna put my email in here. And if you want a recording of this, like you were here, but you also want the recording, you can email me and I'll send it to you. I'll be sending the recordings out later today. Thank you. It was actually kind of big for me to give this talk. I was nervous in a way that I'm not normally nervous when I do these, and then doing it was fine, but that tells me that it was a good thing that I did it. Uh, oh, I accidentally sent my email in a direct message, because I was responding to the person I just messaged, so I will make sure it goes out to everyone. Okay, okay. And everyone saw the link. I just want to make sure, and you can look at that. And then any questions, anything, you're welcome to contact me. Yeah, yeah, thank you. Um, okay, well, we are at time. Uh, and I'm going to put the link here too, since I'm seeing that didn't necessarily go out. So, and it's byinsights.com/manifestation works. There. Okay. Okay. Um, yeah. So whenever anything happens to your life, ask how it's helping you. That's kind of the rule. It's always helping you. And if you are willing to do the work, then it's a really excellent teacher. There's no better teacher than life. There's no better teacher than something going wrong in life, because that really makes you work. All right. I am doing this next Sunday. So the first class is Saturday. I will be doing a talk next Sunday. I'm still figuring out the topic. I was thinking about why good things happen to bad people. Um, like people who are excellent at negative thinking. And stuff. We'll see. I don't know if it's going to be that or something else. I'm just figuring out what it will be, but I think that's going to be the last talk, and then I'm going to be doing the class on Saturday mornings for a while, and then I'm trying to create a lot on my website as well of $15 classes. How manifestate are like purpose activation, how to heal the inner critic, things like that on my website. And I'm going to start doing these talks again, and promoting these little classes on my website. There's a lot of work that I have to do. And then I will be doing the manifestation class starting the 16th. You can look on the website at it, and message me if you have any questions or anything. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me be inadequate with you. Okay. All right. Bye.